The tightest grip doesn't make the strongest hand, it makes the most exhausted one. You've been doing this for years, tracking every dollar, watching the number grow. Turning down the trip, the investment, the expense that felt irresponsible. And every time that balance climbs, you feel something, not just satisfaction, but virtue. Like you've cracked a code everyone else is too weak to follow. But here's what nobody in personal finance will say out loud. That clenched fist, that iron discipline you've been perfecting, may be the most expensive habit you own. Not because saving is wrong. Because a clenched fist can't catch anything. You can grip as hard as you want, what falls from the sky still falls past you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something most disciplined savers never see, because they're too busy watching their savings rate to notice what's actually happening to their wealth. There's a specific line where discipline stops building freedom and starts burying it. Most people cross that line without realizing it. And the longer they stay past it, the harder it becomes to understand why, despite doing everything right, nothing is actually growing. Let's start with the math most people never run. Two people, same income, same starting point. Person A saves $2,000 every month for 20 years. Tight discipline, no deviation. Everything sits in a savings account at 0.5% annual interest. After 2 decades, $486,000. Respectable, hard-earned, the product of real sacrifice. Person B saves $1,000 a month, half the discipline on paper, but deploys the other $1,000 into index funds, averaging 10% annually. Same 20 years, total $760,000, $274,000 more wealth, built by saving less. That gap doesn't come from luck, it doesn't come from income. It comes from one distinction most financial advice never makes clearly: the difference between accumulation and multiplication. Accumulation counts what you hold. Multiplication measures what you release strategically to work. The clenched fist is exceptional at accumulation. It's structurally incapable of multiplication. But here's where the discipline trap goes deeper than investment returns. Because we're not just talking about index funds and compound interest. We're talking about every financial decision filtered through the lens of save or spend. Think about the person who passes on a $4,000 professional course in their field. Disciplined move, 4 months of savings protected. 5 years later, they have that $4,000 back plus modest interest. The other person who took the course, they launched a side business generating $3,000 a month in passive income. That's $180,000 over 5 years from a single $4,000 decision. The $4,000 didn't disappear. It returned, or it compounded into something 45 times its size. The difference wasn't recklessness. It was the willingness to open the fist at precisely the right moment toward the right target. Or consider this: someone drives a 15-year-old car that breaks down twice a year, costs $2,000 in repairs, and shows up late to the interview for the $120,000 a year sales position they've been building toward. The discipline that saved the car payment quietly cost the career move. Meanwhile, someone with a $400 monthly car payment shows up on time, projects confidence, and gets the role. The math on that single decision runs for decades. Discipline didn't fail. Misdirected discipline failed silently. And this is where the entire model has to shift. Because what most of personal finance teaches, and what most of us were raised to believe, is that discipline means restriction. Hold more, spend less. The tighter the grip, the safer you are. That framework was built for survival, not for building. A closed hand survives, an open, calibrated hand builds. The actual skill isn't restraint, it's precision, knowing exactly when to hold and exactly when to release and into what. Those are different muscles entirely. Most disciplined people never develop the second one because the first one feels so righteous. The holding feels like winning, and sometimes it is, but far more often than the savings account balance reveals, it isn't. You've been training one hand for years. The other one, the one that knows how to deploy, has been sitting idle. Now you might be thinking about the risks, the bad investment, the failed business, the course that delivered nothing. Those stories are real, but here's what the data actually shows. The primary financial failure mode in this country isn't people who deployed capital poorly. It's people who never deployed it at all. The average American household holds $8,000 in a savings account, earning less than 1% annually, while carrying $6,000 in credit card debt at 22%. Their discipline is architectural, built into their lifestyle, and their net worth is moving backward, precisely, invisibly, year after year. A clenched fist around stagnant water isn't protecting anything. The water evaporates. That's what inflation does to hoarded cash. The grip gets tighter, the substance inside gets smaller. You feel the control, the math tells a different story. Here's the honest part, for some people, sitting with this is genuinely uncomfortable, not because the logic is wrong, but because the logic is right, and it means years of careful, disciplined behavior has been running at a fraction of its potential. That's not a small thing to absorb. That's a significant realization, and it deserves to be treated as one. But here's what that realization actually is. It's not failure. It's the most valuable upgrade available to you right now. Because discipline is not the enemy, misdirected discipline is. And the upgrade, the shift that separates the disciplined saver from the disciplined builder, is learning to ask a fundamentally different question. Not, can I afford to keep this? But will deploying this return more than holding it? That question changes everything. It treats capital as a tool, not a trophy. It recognizes that every dollar sitting idle is a seed buried in concrete. It cannot grow there. It can only wait, slowly losing its weight to inflation, while you count it and feel the pride of accumulation. The most disciplined wealth builders you'll ever encounter didn't build what they built by saving everything. They saved with intention. They deployed with precision, they kept the discipline, they changed the target. Open the fist, not recklessly, precisely. In practice, this looks like a restructure, not a revolution. If your savings rate is above 30%, you've likely crossed the threshold where holding stops being protective and starts being limiting. A sustainable rebalance, 20 to 25% into savings and emergency reserves, 10 to 15% deployed into growth assets, index funds, real estate, skills, or income-generating systems. The rest spent with full intention on your actual life. Not less discipline, redirected discipline. The old model, grip everything you can. The new model, grip the right things, release the rest into motion. There's one more thing worth sitting with before you close this out. The clenched fist protects what you have today. But every system, every business, every piece of wealth that outlasts a single person, it was built by someone who understood that you cannot construct anything with a closed hand. Discipline isn't measured by what you hold, it's measured by what you build with what you release. The people who never learn that distinction die with savings accounts. The people who do, they leave behind systems. Which one are you building toward?